Alright, this is take 3. Akela's crying out there. Sometimes, like, he gets in the heat and he cries. I'm not sure what that is. Because he's not sad. Why would you squeak in the heat? I don't know. Oh, anyway, this is last day of vacation. Last day of vacation, folks. What'd you do, Earl? Well, it's been the week. It's been the vacation of disappointment. How'd it start? Oh, I went to go get a bike rack and canoe rack put on my car. It turned out it'd run around $600-700, and that was just for the basics. I mean, it was good stuff, but it was like, to do a better job, I'd actually have to permanently mount it, put in rails or whatever. And that was, I don't know, what was that, an extra 100? I don't know, it just seemed like, because the guy's like, well, with the clamps, you have to, if they have a canoe on it, you have to check them all the time, because the canoe, that's a lot of weight hitting the wind, and a lot of torque hits those bars, and shit'll fly off. And I'm like, fuck, really? $600 worth of rack flying off? And the thing is, I've been biking along highways, and I've seen, like, Yakima racks with, like, those cages and stuff like that laying alongside the road. So I just didn't realize it was $600 or $700 worth of rack laying along the road, or I would have immediately stopped what I was doing and hauled that home. So instead, I sent away for a canoe, strap kit and pads, and a bike rack to go on the back, which I haven't tried yet, man. I'm a little nervous about it. Hope it works. And then, so then the next day, I mean, that's like a bad, good thing, right? So then the next day, I went to go shooting, and I drove an hour out to where I go shooting out in the woods, and they'd closed it off because it was a 3-day weekend, and people were fucking crazy. And, you know, then right when I was feeling disappointed, there was a local guy there I was talking to, and I talked to him about the sign, and he lied to me. He tried to pretend that he had never seen that sign before. And I knew it was a lie, and he knew it was a lie, and I was just like, all right, and I just walked away. It's so much bullshit that, like, you don't have to say anything if you don't want to. You just say, like, oh shit, I don't know. That's cool. Like, but don't tell me that, like, well, I've never seen that before. No, yes you have. This guy walks his dogs there all the time, and he's never seen a sign there. It's been there for, like, when did I first see that sign? Like 8 years ago. But so then I get home, and I Google a place I went shooting a long time ago with a buddy of mine, and it's still open. And what I like about it is it's a Keycard entry thing. So you do your Keycard, you go in there, do your shooting, 50-yard range, and then you leave. You don't have to. There aren't people there. There aren't employees there. I mean, there's people there, but there's no employees or anything like that. I like that. I want to go in there, do some shooting, and I want to get out. I don't want to talk to anybody. So that was a good, bad thing. I did some yard work with shout out to Workshop of Death. I cut down some heavy limbs with this, and it worked great. The transfer of weight on this is so good. The only thing that went wrong is my hands. My hands are pretty big, and so you see how my hand is on the metal there. There was a couple times where I hit, and I felt the transfer of force. I felt go into my finger. It felt like it was getting an electric shock. But I talked to Matt too about having like a guard, and he said the guard will throw the weight off. And so I'm not. This is a great knife. I love it, and I continued to use it. I just choked up or choked back on it a little bit, and I think if I used it for like that all the time, I think I would wrap tape around the end so that my hand would slide to that tape, and that's as far as it would go. But I continued to use it, and I chopped down a bunch of stuff because that's the other thing I'm doing is I'm going to move this structure to the mouth, so that's right there is where I've cut all the trees back, and I'm going to continue to cut the trees back until you can see my back door, and then I got to take that apart, slide it over here, and put it back together. I don't know. I don't know. When I set that up, actually, I wasn't even sure that I had all the parts. So that basically I set that up there just to see if I could put it together. It won't be that big of a deal to move it. It's just kind of a pain in the ass. So that's pretty much. Those are the big things I've done with my vacation. Took Akela to the Delta. We haven't been there in months, and he did okay. His back legs just aren't doing very good. Giving him fish oil. I'm rubbing, oddly enough, I'm rubbing coconut oil on his skin because I believe he had a skin infection. So I cleaned out his ears. We hated that. And I put coconut oil on his skin, and the very next day his skin where I put the coconut oil was a normal color. So that works amazing. Fuck. What else? Been playing Vigor. They just had an update on Vigor. If you play on Xbox, give Vigor a try. It's $20 to get the beta, and it is fun. It is so much fun. Some people are like cheating by working together, and I took the heavy machine gun in for the first time. No, wait, it wasn't the first time, but it's the first time I took it into a forest setting, because the machine gun's really good at a distance. And you go through the forest and someone just steps around and knocks you on the back of the head and they take all your stuff. And I came up on two people working together and I just mowed them down. It was so good. I was so proud of myself. I immediately put the machine gun back. I'm like, don't take that into the woods again. That was fun. I was gonna go canoeing today, and I remembered a place that I used to go canoeing, but it's a fairly large amount of work to get the canoe in. And I have to start work really early tomorrow morning, and I'm like, I just don't want to do something that exhausts me today. But I've laid the groundwork. I now know where I want to go. I now know how to get there, and I bought a cart. I bought a different cart to wheel the canoe back there, so it'll be fun to try that out. Yeah. And frankly, I couldn't be bothered. Where are we, 7 minutes? I couldn't be bothered to deal with anybody today. I was walking Akela this morning. He wanted to go for like a double walk. We went for like one loop through the neighborhood, and then he wanted to go to the park. And when we got to the park, he kind of like his back legs started to give out a little bit, so we headed home. And we go by this guy, and I started to go to one side of the street, and he kind of veered out to the middle, and then I went to the other side of the street, and then he veered over to our side. And I'm like, well, I guess he wants to say hi. And then, so I'm like, how you doing? He's like, going good. And Akela stops and goes to sniff him, and the guy lifted up his hand like he was going to whack Akela. And I was going to try to beat him to the whack. Like, if his hand was going to come down, I was going to try to get that hand and behave in an aggressive manner. Because people have hit Akela before. It astounds me that anyone would hit another man's dog. And once again, we come back to the reason why people do that and why people do a lot of things is because it's deeply, deeply frowned upon to knock someone the fuck out. There's a lot of things people do on a regular basis that if they got knocked the fuck out, they would stop it. And one of my friends pointed out, unless you know that person and see that person on a regular basis, you can't know that affects the whole rest of their life. You just know that they're probably really unlikely to ever try to hit your dog again, which is a good point. Though I could think of different times where I've talked to somebody where someone's like, yeah, I used to do this, but then, things went wrong a couple times, and I can't deal with that. I can't be bothered, I'm not getting involved. Malt liquor. Yeah, but it takes some people need a couple of not getting knocked the fuck out. Some people just need one. One of my buddies needs several, and he's gotten several. He's 90% changed his behavior. But some of those people, probably what the problem is, though, is impulse control. Like 10% of the time he does not know how to control his impulses, and he finds himself in situations that he wish he wasn't. But, as far as I can tell, he can't avoid it. All right. It was a good vacation. A good vacation of disappointments. But, I guess you just spin your thinking, you're like, well, things went wrong, so I found solutions. I had a friend over to the tiny house. I'm not tiny house. I had a friend over to the man shed, which is a rarity. And I tried to clean my house up, but it's like, no matter how much I clean, all that does is show how dirty my house is. And the whole idea of picking up all the stuff I've got everywhere, I can't imagine. I've got enough stuff for like 10 people. Like oh fuck, 10 minutes. That TV show like Survive or something like that, where people take 10 items and then go out to the wilderness and survive? They should totally do that with stuff from my house. You have 10 minutes to pick 10 things from Earl's house, and then we're dropping you off in the woods. Frankly, I got like 6-7 tents. I should set one up. And camp in the backyard. I've yet to do that. I've actually yet to camp in the man shed. I kind of think I did it once, though. Once I did, actually, and I woke up and I was really cold and I just went in the house. So I think I've done it once. All right. See you, buddy. Thanks for listening. Almost 12 minutes. Fuck.